Hello and welcome to Sports on Tees TV. Today we'll be talking about Hartlepool's game on Tuesday against Leyton Orient. We'll also have highlights from Redcar's Wearside League game.
Tonight, the Redcar Bears are in action against Newcastle Diamonds in the Speedway Championship Shield. It's been a poor start to the season for Redcar as they've lost their first two opening fixtures of the season and have had all their home events postponed so far due to bad weather and poor track condition. They'll be hoping for a much improved result tonight against Newcastle in a local derby, and you can find results and reaction here on Sport on Tees.
So now onto the Hartlepool game. I'm here with Sports on Tees supporter Paul Fogarty to talk about the game. So you went to the match on Tuesday. What can you tell us about it?
It was a good win for Hartlepool. I finished 1-0 to them after a Lewis Lang goal in the first half. They really held on for a lot of the game. I think Leyton Orient were probably the better team. I think even the manager, Matthew Bates, said that in the post-game press conference we were at. Obviously, with the game sort of secures the National League status for Hartlepool, it gives them 3 points, which keeps them safe just about. I think they're really happy with that. I think they really clawed in and dug in right at the end to sort of get that. Loads of pressure from Leyton Orient for most of the game, but they managed to weather the storm, as it were, and hold on for 3 points.
So obviously there's been a lot of drama and controversy around the ownership of the club. How big is that win for the future of the team going into the next season of the National League?
Oh, it's massive. It gives them that sort of base to build on for next season. They've avoided relegation again, so it gives them the base to sort of build on and claw the way back up the table again and hopefully get back into the Football League in a few years' time. So,
like you said, you had the opportunity to speak to the manager. What did he have to say after the game?
I think it was an overriding sense of relief after what has been a really tough season for Hartlepool. They've really struggled with results, and obviously the financial situation hasn't been ideal. Had a big change of ownership. Only last week, I think, we have an article about that. You could feel the weight was off his shoulders. He was very sort of calm and quiet. I think obviously he's been sort of really wound up in the week before this game. You could really sense the sort of relief and sort of calm feeling around the club after that, securing their place in the National League for next season and giving them a base to build on for next season.
Obviously, he's not the permanent manager. Did he mention at all if he wants to carry on the job next season?
He did indeed. BBC Tees interviewed him and they got a little cheeky question in there asking whether he'd be around next season. He said he'd like to be with Hartlepool as well.
Nice, thank you. On Wednesday night, Sport on Tees journalists Josh Frankland and Paul Fogarty went to get highlights of the Redcar game. Here are these highlights for you. Come on then, come on then. Finish. Come on.
Kicking it going backwards and stuff like that, like a working hamstring. It's just like, yeah, but when you're actually there, and you can see him, so going into a squat, it's just like, don't do that.
Right, lads.
One push, you've got that! That's it! Well done! Don't move it! Give him it! Come on, you're in! Pull in! Pull in! Pull! Yes! Hey, Chips, come with you. Come on, classic game, go on! Yeah! Well done! Well done! Keep battling! Just let him come! Watch this! Well done!
I'm now joined by Sports on Tees reporter Josh Frankland to talk about all things Middlesbrough. What can we expect from Middlesbrough this weekend, Josh?
Well, first of all, we've got Tony Pulis' press conference on Friday, which Josh Heselhurst, one of our reporters, is going to attend. So he'll bring you all the reaction from Tony Pulis in that press conference. And I think Pulis is going to talk about how it's one game by one game. He's been saying it for weeks now that he takes it step by step, and even though we've only got 3 games left of the season, I think that's going to be his attitude. It's a massive game against Derby this weekend, another team that have been around us this season, and Derby have sort of done typical Derby. They bottle it every season, and they're at it again already, and I think Middlesbrough will be looking to exploit that, and hopefully Patrick Bamford can be fixed. Obviously concussion at the weekend, and he's always successful against Derby, one of his old clubs. He's a Nottingham Forest fan. I think one of my favourite memories of going to Pride Park, or the iPro Stadium as it's called now, is Patrick Bamford's goal on St Patrick's Day, and that was the year we nearly went up, so we'll be hoping for a bit more of that. But Derby are a good team. They've got a lot of good players, and they've got a good manager, Gary Rowett, but there's something at that club that just isn't right. No matter what happens, they end up sliding away, but they're still in with a shout, and it's going to be a huge game to see whether Boro can get in the playoffs or not.
So going towards the playoffs now, 3 games left. Do you think there's a chance Middlesbrough could stay in the playoff spots?
Well, it's in our hands now. We're in 5th. We're playing the teams around us, which is important, because if we win, we're guaranteed playoffs. We're not relying on anyone else slipping up. We've got Derby this weekend, which is obviously a team that's really close to us in the league. And the week after is a huge game. It's on TV. Millwall at home. There'll be a huge crowd there. Millwall are probably the team that have came out of nowhere. It happens every season in the Championship. There's always a team that sneaks into the playoffs. And Millwall are another decent side. They're a big, strong side. We struggled down there at the Den earlier in the season, and that's going to be a huge game. And I said a couple of weeks ago that it was we had 6 fixtures left and we were playing everyone around us. We lost to Sheffield United. We went and beat Bristol City on the weekend, which was a huge result. And I think what was most pleasing about that game at the weekend was that against Bristol City, we performed in the first half, and that's something that we haven't had a lot this season. But second half, we slided again and we made it hard for ourselves. So Pulis will be saying, be at it for 90 minutes of the game, because that's something that we definitely haven't done all season. We're always good for 50, 60 minutes and then we let it go. But hopefully, 3 games left. Ipswich is the last game. If Boro can win against Derby on the weekend, they'll be confident going into Millwall, and Ipswich away is definitely a game that you should be winning.
Thank you, Josh. As you said, a big game for Middlesbrough this weekend. We'll be covering the press conference as well as the match itself, so keep an eye on Sports on Tees for more.